Hello and welcome to all you wonderful people to the 74th edition of my weekly series of Weird Mind Newsroom, where this week we'll be delving into more of all things media, with a fair few new releases, some amount of trailers, and a slightly quieter news week. But without wasting too much time, let's get into the content of all things media for this week. What a wonderful world. So we shall start off this week's new releases with one of the most anticipated animated films of the fall season, and the second anime film to come out within the last few weeks that was a focus on robots, as we head to the studio of Dreamworks to delve into their next big animated project that will show that reprogramming can have some positive effects, as we have this new animated film of The Wild Robot. The plot for this title will follow a character named Roz, who's voiced by Lupita Nyong'o, a helper robot who finds herself stranded on a deserted island after a bad storm, will soon reactivate and learn to survive and adapt to its new surroundings, where she will soon build relationships with the animals of the island, as well as becoming a parental figure for an orphan gosling. But when the company that created the robot learns it survived and it looks to get them back, it will be up to Roz to protect her new home and newfound family from total destruction. Reception to this new film has garnered some very strong universal acclaim, with praise to the narrative, characters, humor, beautiful animation, and its heart, and then I've heard this film will make people cry. I know in case instance probably when I go see this I'm gonna look like Kevin Smith after watching all those new superhero shows. And in case instance that, given the film has already seen a sequel greenlit, then I am all for this. And if you want to check it out for yourself, and probably have a good cry similar to another anime film that had something about emotions this year, then you can check it out now in cinemas. But if animation is not much of your interest in this week, and would much rather have something with a bit more of a horror tone to it, then thankfully you're in luck in that regard, as after releasing the original film that was based from a short from about 2 years ago with some unsettling method of marketing and turned out surprisingly well, the evil entity with the decrepit smirk is taking things to the massive stage and audience as we have the release of the sequel of Smile 2. The film will follow on from the original, but instead focus on global pop superstar of Sky Riley, and is played by Naomi Scott, who's about to embark on a world tour after a bit of a snag with some substance abuse in the past from a tragic event. But soon things start to become a lot more intense as she starts to experience some increasingly terrifying and inexplicable events, and starting to become overwhelmed by these horrors and pressures of fame, she must soon face her dark past in order for her to reclaim her life before everything spirals out of control. Reception to this sequel has also garnered some well-received reception, with praise to the bigger scope of the simple concept, its scares and performances, and more expansion to the lore of this entity. If you want a bit of a good spook, then you can catch this new film out now in cinemas. So on the basis of this next film that is releasing, is one that may be a hot button topic of conversation given as what is going on over in the US involving a focus of said project, as we learn the origins of the art of the deal, as we have the new biographical film of The Apprentice. This film will follow the early career of a young Donald Trump, and is played by Sebastian Stan, in the 1970s and 80s New York, where he will be put under the spell of cutthroat lawyer of Roy Cohn, played by Jeremy Strong, who will see the prospects of a perfect protege with Trump, who may have raw ambition, hunger for success, and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win. Reception to this new film has also seen some well-received receptions. The film would praise the film's techniques and performances, and even with a glowing review from the certain person himself that may say it's wrong, then it may be worth a watch. And if you're interested in learning more about the art of the deal, then you can catch the new film out now in cinemas. On the last of the films for this week is delving into another film with a true story to the whole ordeal, and one with a darker tale being told, as we have the directorial debut of actress Anna Kendrick with her new film of Woman of the Hour. The film will tell the story of Cheryl Bradshaw, who's also played by Kendrick, who back in the 1970s LA found herself as a contestant on the popular series of The Dating Game, where she will find herself matched with a suitor named Rodney Alcala. But unbeknownst to Cheryl, the person she has found herself on a date with has a dark past and a fair bit of blood on his hands. Reception to this directorial debut has also seen some very strong positive reception, with praise to the performances, its direction, its production, and retelling of the story that may be well known from one perspective, but giving it a new light in the subject, and a strong directorial debut for Anna Kendrick. And if you want to check it out for yourselves, you can catch his new film out now on Netflix. And on the first games for this week, it brings up the elements that we can get heated in the likes of online gaming, and the likes of a world of games with narratives full of dialogue. But in the form of this new title, it will be a case about how silence is key, as we return to the universe where everything went quiet from earlier this year, taking the role of how we would handle it as we return to the world of A Quiet Place with the new title of The Road Ahead. This new title will have you take on the role of a character named Alex Taylor, an asthmatic college student who is a survivor amongst a world overrun by alien creatures dubbed Death Angels, who run by the use of sound and their enhanced hearing, who must survive in a world after the death of her boyfriend leaves her on her own to defend herself, follow a journey across more than 100 days of a dangerous world. Now, as of recording this, there hasn't been, similar to the case how initially Until Dawn's remake came out, this game has not garnered really many reviews that I've seen as of yet, though I've seen some online from some user reviews that the game is pretty much well received with praise for its story, its gameplay and audio mechanics and world building, though some critiques on the likes of maybe the PC port, maybe some graphical and technical issues with running the game. But if you want to experience a dangerous world for yourself, you can play this game now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And the last of the new releases for this week is something that will be a bit more louder and bombastic, as it's time to party, and may also bring the end of some friendships as well, as we are heading to the Mushroom Kingdom for the biggest party so far, with the newest title of Super Mario Party Jamboree. This new party game will have you and your friends meeting up and duking out across 7 new party boards and over 80 plus new mini games to see who is the ultimate superstar, and even duke it out with over 30 players online to see who will be the ultimate party player. Reception of this new entry has also been very well received, with praise to its boards, its mini games, and roster to being one of the best Mario Party games since the GameCube and early Wii era. If you're up for a party, then you can play it now on the Nintendo Switch. With all that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week.
No crack, Gromit. We've forgotten the crack.
Okay, so on first of the trailers for this week is taking us to the realm of horror, as coming off of the recent release of another adaptation from this horror novelist and the next film from the filmmaker with one of the best uses of marketing for a film in a long time of this year, we have received a new trailer for the first full proper look at the upcoming adaptation of the Stephen King short story of The Monkey. Monkey. The film will follow twins of Hal and Bill, who come across a vintage wind-up toy monkey in their father's home, but start to notice strange and unexpected deaths start to unfold around them. They rid of the toy and go their separate ways, but when the deaths begin to reoccur, they will need to reunite and find a way to destroy this cursed item once for all. So the likes of King adaptations can have that array of a hit or miss appeal, but I feel like with the likes of this coming from Osgood Perkins, whose previous film was Longlegs, and it being produced by horror director James Wan, I do feel there may be some hope with this adaptation, and it looks weird, it looks over the top and nuts, but it could be worth a check out. And we'll see how this all comes together when the film releases in the cinemas from February 21st of next year. It's time to get on the crackers and cheese for this next small teaser of the week, as after nearly 2 decades since their last big film outing and 15 years plus since the last long-form short film they made, everyone's favorite cheese-loving inventor and his faithful canine companion are back once again, as we have received their first proper first-look teaser at the new Wallace and Gromit film of Vengeance Most Foul. The plot will see Gromit become concerned of Wallace's dependency on his inventions by justifiably proven when he invents the Smart Gnome that will soon develop a sinister mind of its own. When it emerges that a vengeful foe from the past may be the mastermind behind all of this, it falls to Gromit to battle these sinister forces and save his master, or he may never invent again. It's been a long time coming for a new feature-length Wallace and Gromit film since the Oscar-winning one of Curse the Were-Rabbit, and I have been very excited to see this come along after the release of, well, to me personally, the very well-regarded Chicken Run sequel. Now everyone cannot wait to check out this film, and it's not too long away, as we're releasing over here on Christmas Day, and then internationally on Netflix from January 3rd. So then moving back over to the realm of the sci-fi world, and then from another massive streamer again, we are delving into a world of machines and conflict with humans stuck in the middle, as the Russo brothers have come along once again before their comic book mayhem begins again, as they unveiled at New York Comic Con this week the first trailer for their upcoming new film of The Electric State. The film will be set in an alternate history version of 1994 America, and based on the graphic novel from the same name by, I think it's something Stollenberg or something, I can't remember the first name, I think it's Steven Stollenberg, and will follow Michelle, played by Millie Bobby Brown, who is approached by a small robot who claims to know her missing brother, and the help of this bot and some other survivors, including a man named Keats, played by Chris Pratt, as they go on a journey to try and find him. Now the basis from what I've gathered online is that the film is going to be much more in the realm of detracting from the original source material, and seems to be not showing the point of the book, and more of the likes of it being an action film with some big name stars in the role, including the main lead actress that seems to be nearly in every single Netflix project at this point, and a fair amount have been a bit meh that she's been in, but I may feel it'd be made worth watching to turn out good, but I guess we'll have to find out over time, as the film will be releasing into Netflix from the 14th of March of next year. And with all that, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
You like Huey Lewis on the news?
So starting news for this week is a story that kind of came and went from earlier in the week, and this revolves around a topic that has been brought up a few times in this series, and that's of course with the inevitable outcome of some leaks to massive studios. Now in the past 2 years we've seen this a few times, with Rockstar getting one with GTA 6 footage leaked, Insomniac last Christmas that saw titles, planned release dates and personal information leaked, and earlier this summer with a data breach from Disney that really didn't go anywhere. But now it looks like another studio has also seen their content being leaked, and this is coming to us from a very popular brands and franchise in the world, with some very surprising leaks to come from it, and this is with the studio of Game Freak. Now many may not know too much of the name of the studio, but they may know the franchise they work on, as they are one of the people that work on the massive global IP of Pokemon, and a case where some of their file leaks may earn the latter half of their name. So during the week, the company experienced a data breach and saw from a third party, and some of their files were changed, which includes some serious items like personal information and stuff, which is, a very serious issue and no one should have that ordeals taken. And then some other stuff like some possible files and game builds that leaked that were either completed, upcoming projects, or possible scrapped ones, but we don't know yet. But it was also the case that it was not the only information stolen, as it also dealt in some unseen and strange lore for some of the Pokemon, and one of them has been quite a discussion online and involves the Pokemon of Typhlosion and the whole ordeal of it being based on more Japanese folklore that's a lot more darker than expected, and the likes of human and Pokemon coexisting and doing more than just training and battling, where it seems to be some trickery and the element of some cross species where humans and Pokemon spawns exist, which is quite the elaborate lore for a fun game of capturing strange creatures and making them do battle. Now the company has come out and mentioned the whole thing with the aware of the breach and they're working to resolve the issue, but it does raise the question about if this was all done in the form of connecting back to Asian folklore, or if the freaking Game Freak was really meaning the elaborate and more strange adult lore that's been established, and if any other Pokemon from the 1164 created creatures so far, I guess we have learned over time, or else those are about to become some well-kept secrets. But what do you think about all this sort of stuff? Do you think that there's a lot more to this, or is this whole data breach really just unnecessary? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. So story number 2 for this week is delving into a mix of some new releases and a little update to another project, which mainly consists of animation, superheroes, and video game adaptations. So we're not going to wave too much time on the announcements and stuff. Let's get into what was announced this week. So first off is the story that I mentioned that was announced earlier this year and actually didn't bring up last week, and this was with the upcoming film adaptation of the PS4 title of Until Dawn. And the case was that the film had actually announced that it had wrapped production with a behind the scenes image of some of the cast and director of David F. Sandberg, and so began the speculation of how long it would be before we would see this hitting the big screen. Well, it wasn't too long after. It was announced on Tuesday this week that the film will now be hitting to the big screen on April 25th, 2025, just coming in a few months before the original version's 10th anniversary. Now all this sounds well and good, and I look forward to kind of seeing this take on the film with a smaller group and some familiar faces, but I question if the appeal of said project will be present for this, given the news comes in just under 2 weeks since the recent remake of the game, with the case that had some issues of technical issues, lack of new content, and changes to stuff that people didn't like, and of course the very high price point. But it may harm some of the appeal, but I feel it could see fans of the game come out in support of it, if it's the same tone or story with the characters, or if it's got a different group of characters. But I guess we'll find out more as the production starts ramping up and we see some footage for it all the same. Next is a studio information from a studio that doesn't really like animation or likes to shelve things for tax write-offs and lose a lot of money, and that's of course with Warner Bros. Now this does not relate to gaming news, but it does relate to some projects that they would most likely shelve, and this relates to the studio of their massive company in relation to another film that was scrapped that has the same tone of stuff, which is, release kind of for Zack Me Warner, don't be pussies. And this comes in the form of another fully animated Looney Tunes cartoon of The Day the Earth Blew Up. Now, the film has been given screenings at film festivals earlier this year and garnered some very strong critical reception, and may wondered, would we see this film? And thankfully, it's been answered, as earlier this week we got the official release date for this movie coming out on February 28th next year. It's so far confirmed for the US of that date, and most likely will probably be the same international markets at the same time or a little bit later or before, but we have to see. But seeing a new Looney Tunes animated film in cinemas is probably going to be well worth it, and I look forward to seeing it all the same. The last of the new release dates is coming to us a few minutes just as of writing this last night, but this is coming to us with some hot news from the New York Comic Con, and we're talking briefly on the MCU. and I want their next project to be releasing. So we know currently right now Agatha All Along is actually surprisingly turned out really better than expected as of now, and then the next movie after this is going to be Captain America 4 in February. But there is one other project releasing within the next 6 months that people may be forgetting about, and that is with the new series based on The Man Without Fear of Daredevil, and it was just confirmed today of a release date in March. Well, now we have a proper actual date for it. At New York Comic Con, this series will now begin streaming for episodes from the 4th of March of the next year, so you have a clear idea of when it is. Now, at the moment, this is all the case of giving them no trailers or project of a 2-episode premiere or how long the series be, because I remember initially it was going to be like either 6 to 9 episodes like the usual one, or I've heard rumors as long as 18 episodes first season back at Comic Con a couple of years ago. But I guess we'll learn more over time as it becomes a case they drop a trailer in the next few hours or something, but you know, we'll have to see over time, but I'm looking forward to a new Daredevil series. And this last bit of news relating to some gaming news is coming to us to an update to a project that has been in some form of development for the last little while, and that is with the planned Amazon Prime series based on the popular franchise of God of War. Now, for the last little bit, and around the time that the Horizon series with Netflix was announced, there was work being done on a series based on the journey of Kratos, and it was unclear if it will follow the original trilogy mythology or the recent duologies mythology, which I think is more the latter. And this show had a showrunner with Rafe Judkins, who did The Wheel of Time for Amazon, and writers with Hawk Otsbies and Mark Fergus, who did Children of Men, Iron Man, and Expanse between them. And for what I've heard, it was going well, until news just this week where it was announced that they were left the project and the series is now getting a new reboot with the company. It's unclear as to why they left the project, as it was told they had been done a fair few script drafts, and all of them have been very high praise from both studios of Sony and Amazon. Now, this will see the project be pushed back most likely as they look for more showrunners and writers, but in most cases, I would say like of the Horizon series that was shelved for the time being, that it will come around, and for them to take all the time to make it epic, of course. Now, I feel an option they could do is with the team that worked on the acclaimed Fallout series for Amazon could step in as showrunners and writers and work on it, or get some that works well on some really well regarded video game adaptations alongside the studio Santa Monica to make it a clear vision. But I have a good bit of faith that this may turn around at some point and we'll see the Ghost of Sparta take on all the gods and stand his way soon. But what do you think of all these updates and release dates, and are you excited for any of them, and who do you think they will get involved with the new release of God of War series? Let me know what you think below and let's discuss them there. So the last of the news stories for this week is the announcement of a project that's been brought to attention within the last few hours as of writing this episode, and it is coming to us in the form of a remake that will probably provide a lot of divisive opinion. Maybe to the level of divisiveness to an attempt of a recreation of an adaptation poster for a film version of said film of a Broadway show that one of the main leads got a bit pissy about and started going off on some weird tangents. So if you've been aware over the last little while, or have seen a bit of masculinity or case sigma beta male memes, then you know one of the films that has been a massive presence in this has been the 2000 film of American Psycho, and Christian Bale's performance as the main lead of Patrick Bateman, and has stood the test of time of a cult classic film even over a forgettable sequel that's only in name only, and a stage production that starred Matt Smith in the title role at one point. But looks like this may be about to change, as it was announced that this may be getting a new remake or reboot for this film for a new generation of audiences. At the moment, not much besides the announcement has been made, besides who will be behind the camera shooting the project, and this comes in the form of director Luca Guadagnino, who is known for his films of Call Me By Your Name, the upcoming project of Queer, and this year's Challengers movie, a film that I think is good but kind of disappointing, just to me personally, and which may be a decent choice of the project in general, but this also feels like making a remake to a classic film like American Psycho may be a bit more difficult, as the original is iconic in the present day, and them trying to make it in a more modern setting now will probably be a bit more of a debate and concern, probably that it may portray a more negative aspect, or not going far enough from the concept of successful businessman in the day and serial killer at night, and a case where a lot of stuff may be dated very quickly, but I have no idea. But I guess we'll have to see the direction we'll go in from this one now. In the moment, there is no projected release date or as a whole who will play the main lead, or if it connected to the two previous films, but I guess if you hear anything down the line, I'll update in a later piece. But what do you think of this announced reboot, and would you watch a new take on American Psycho, and who would you cast in the title role? Let me know your ideas below in the comments, and with all that, that's all the news that we have for this week. Whoa! And with all of that, that ends episode 74 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my ramblings for a little over 20 minutes this week. Anyways, let's get to a bit of an updates for what's to come for this next little bit. Right, so some more reviews. You might have seen a case instance. I know it was a bit odd when I was talking about it last week, but the two reviews for the Barbenheimer double feature are now available to check on my channel. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check them both here in the description below, or you can check on my channel in particular. I have plans, the case instance I need to figure out some more reviews I need to work on in kind of regards. I don't know if I do another another double feature like Dune or like maybe some summer ones from this year. But at least I have another, I think at least one more film added on from the 2 I saw last week, and that one for this week is Transformers 1. A film that I think I was like had a mixed expectations to, but actually turned out really well, much better than I thought. Had a little bit of pacing issues here and there, but I'll get into it when I get to review. Hopefully I will probably see Wild Robot this week, maybe The Apprentice. I might give a look at that in One of the Hour, and then next week we got The Symbiote Boy. Well, I'll get to it. And in more case, more reviews will come along, and I'll try and figure some long and short forms as well. And if you have any reviews you want me to see, or want to get your own opinions on stuff for reviews, let me know below. I'm sort of working on some other stuff. Aesthetics of what I did with the Barbie one. I'm probably gonna do a few more with them, with that person as well, and take the born person and other things down the line, but we'll see to it. Anyways, case in some gameplays. I have at least 2 more parts of Last of Us currently cooking up right now. I have them ready to go. I also have the first part of Mario Wonder ready to record as well. I think I've finished the first world. I know there's a few little bits like pieces to finish up on, but I will get to it down the line. I think hopefully those parts will come in the next couple of days, probably after this episode. I just dropped another episode for Last of Us last night, which brought us up to where we meet Henry and Sam, so that's what that regards. But we'll hopefully see how it comes along down the line. I hopefully will get Cyberpunk started this week, and then I have like a few other games. I'm probably gonna do some horror ones maybe for this week as well. It's kind of like tied in. I might do maybe like Outlast and some of the ones, like some short ones for the moment, and then like probably sort it out for like next year when I have like more of a focus time on it, but we'll get to it in regards. And then the long form stuff of like the rewatchathon, the AI video, and other stuff, they are being worked on. I did a little bit more during this week and just kind of focusing on it, and then getting some insight, at least for the audience choice one, from the person that gave the audience choice video for it, to give their insights on 1 or 2 films in particular from the project I'm talking about or other projects. So it all comes together in regards. Follow up on that anyway. But yeah, there'll be hopefully out this week of this year, and I might look into Horror Most War this week. I'll have the regards and that stuff. But anyways, that's all I have to talk about for this week. So if you enjoyed my content and you want to see more from me, then simply like and subscribe, as I upload new videos every single week, including this project, and I hope to reach a goal of 100 subs. We're at 92 right now, we're 8 away, so hopefully by the end of this year we will have 100 subs, and I will appreciate all of you and maybe do some fun elaborate thing with you all, but hopefully success things. But let me know your thoughts down below on everything that was discussed this week, from new releases, trailers, and news stories and all in particular, and give your thoughts on everything. And as always, I shall leave it there. But as always, you all stay being wonderful people and have a great day every day, doing many great things, and of course to keep being you, because no one else can do what you do. And with all of that, I shall see you all in the next episode of this series, as well as all the other videos on my channel. So, hope you enjoy my content, and keep being awesome and all stuff, and take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye everyone.